What is up, players? It is Wednesday, the 28th of May 2014. I am Jim, as usual. I am joined by Billy Fletcher.
Billy Fletcher. How are you this week, Jim?
I'm amazing, young, handsome, nubile, moist, hairy. Billy Fletcher.
Hairy?
Apart from your stubble, which is non-existent.
Cracking stubble.
He's got the better head of hair than a 9-year-old girl.
Is rivaled by nobody.
Makes me sick.
I got an awesome week. You had a good week?
I've had a really good week, mate. I'm not going to lie, it's been good. My girlfriend's not been around much, so it's been good.
Games.
I've got to play a lot of Wolfenstein this week on PS4. Played a bit of Battlefield, as you know, because you were playing with me.
Player.
Played a bit of Watch Dogs. Not that impressed, to be honest.
Yeah, you didn't like that.
Not that impressed. Had some Nando's.
You player.
Wing roulette.
What?
Wing roulette.
Alright.
You know what I mean? It's like Russian roulette, but with chicken.
You spicy one?
Some of them were. That's, you play the game, you get some spicy.
Mm.
It's not guaranteed to be mild. That's why it's called wing roulette. You don't know what's going to happen.
Harry Sky game.
It's like what them chocolates called where you don't know what you're going to get. Help me out.
Revels.
Revels.
Here
Is
we
it
go.
a coffee? Is it caramel? Who knows? Either way, I've had a really good week.
Excellent. That's enough chit chat. I don't need small talk with you.
This green tea's hot.
In fact, I'm going to bring this up.
Oh shit, that's hot.
You were slurping a lot on last week's podcast.
I know.
No one was writing in and complaining, but everyone was writing in and complaining about your slurps.
Well, sometimes you sound really clever if you pause. You slurp a bit. Have you not seen Question Time? Or any Jeff Goldblum film? In Jurassic Park, Ollie, does he slurp? Every scene he's got a coffee cup.
You've made your point. With dramatic effect. Right.
With another one. Talk to me about movies this week.
We've got plenty to talk about, haven't we? We've got an exciting... in fact, let's talk about what we did today. We did something really exciting today.
What did we do today, Billy Fletcher?
We had a lovely chat with Scott Atkins today.
Scott Atkins, the star of Expendables 2.
Absolute players.
Undisputed 2 and 3.
He's been in everything.
Universal Soldier.
Action star.
A New Dimension. Overall, lovely, down-to-earth, brilliant guy. Action star. Just brilliant guy.
And we got a brilliant exclusive interview with him, so we'll be bringing that in a separate audio video later.
Yeah. What a nice guy, though, eh?
He was awesome.
And he's a local guy, too.
Birmingham.
And he's an ass kicker. He was talking all about working out with Arnold Schwarzenegger when filming Expendables 2, what Marvel character he wants to take on, which might shock some people, but it makes perfect sense. He was talking about wanting to be the lead in a certain action reboot which is being made. So you'll have to stay tuned for the next podcast which we'll put on, which will be the whole interview in full, including all the bits where we're like, "Oh, Scott, you're so muscly. Oh, God, you've got a six-pack. Oh, God, how do you get muscles, Scott Atkins?
Tell me how to, Scott.
Oh, Scott, you're a dreamboat. Oh,
You've got the dream job, Scott.
oh, you've got the best job ever." It got a bit fanboy, didn't it?
You got a bit intense.
To be fair, though, the guy's done everything. He's kicked everyone in the face. Jason Statham, Jackie Chan, Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's going to be kicking Gary Daniels in the face in his new film. Well, lots to show you guys on the next podcast.
Yeah, that'll be good. Right, I want to talk about Kung Fury. You want to talk about Kung Fury?
Yeah, man.
This is something that a lot of our listeners, readers might not be familiar with. Do you want to give a nice little roundup of Kung Fury?
Yeah. So, Kung Fury set the interwebs alight a few months ago. It's a film directed by David Sandberg, is it?
Yeah.
If I remember. And it was started off on Kickstarter. I think they wanted to raise about £300,000 to create this epic 80s retro kung fu movie. I think they ended up they ended up receiving about £600,000, which is mental. And basically, the film they're creating is called Kung Fury, which is every cliche from the 80s you could ever imagine, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's about a cop in the 80s who is reckless and, does whatever he wants, and he decides he's got to go back in time and kill the ultimate bad guy, which is Hitler.
Obviously Hitler.
AKA Kung Fury.
Kung Fury.
Next thing you know, there's a dinosaur and 4
Hot Viking babe.
and a Viking with an Uzi and the best soundtrack I've ever heard on a trailer ever.
So it's basically every action movie's fans' fantasy.
It's a wet dream. It's literally a wet dream. I mean, people know me. My friends know me as being a bit of an 80s fan, and I think when it hit, I think about 5 or 6 people shared it me on Facebook.
Yeah.
So if you're into the 80s and action, it's just a dream movie. This, but they got the funding and they're well underway now, aren't they? Which you're going to talk about now.
Yeah, there's been an update where David has commented about he's been basically hanging out with a load of celebrities, Elijah Wood, Seth Rogen, Lonely Island guys. Like he's done everything. He's been hanging out with a lot of A-listers. They're all supporting the project, and basically he's teased a Hollywood movie for Kung Fury down the line.
Wow.
That they might make a bigger production. I think that's really exciting.
It is exciting.
With a bit more money behind the production. Like they've done it all themselves. It's post-production that they're looking for the money. I think that's awesome. Like seeing a big budget movie like that would be great.
Well, the thing is, all the money is in the post-production and he can do it himself, a lot of it, with his mates, so that's perfect. Yeah. All they need is a good studio behind him to release it, and it'll be a cult classic. If it were on Netflix, it's be on all the time.
Yeah.
It'd be the most viewed thing on Netflix. Guarantee, or VOD or whatever.
Definitely would.
Maybe a little small cinema run would be amazing.
I'd be very excited to see that. So speaking of low budget films and martial arts action films,
oh yeah,
The Raid has been in the news again this week. Not The Raid that we really love, but the US remake,
which could potentially be amazing or shit.
Or absolutely
if Expendables 3 is shit, it'll be shit. But if
Patrick
Expendables 3
Hughes,
is good, it'll be good.
Yeah. Patrick Hughes is directing. The project's been pushed back about 6 months to early 2015 before it starts filming, which don't really surprise me because they've not named any stars for it to get out anytime soon. They're going to have to rush it. There's no point rushing it, so that don't surprise me. But some of the names which are being mooted did surprise me. So there is Anthony Mackie.
Who?
Captain America, Falcon.
Really?
Yeah. That surprised me. I can't really picture what he'd play. No real martial arts background that I know of.
It's difficult to imagine because I know we interviewed Scott Adkins today, but this is a role designed for him. It's perfect. It requires a lot of acting, and a lot of ass kicking, in camera, in frame. And if Patrick Hughes is all that he's cracked up to be with Expendables 3, it could be a brilliant vehicle for him, and I wouldn't say he'd be cheap, but he'd be the perfect person for the role.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I think if the studios choose a name, like, let's just think of a generic name they could throw at it, Guy Pearce, or someone young.
Yeah.
Just someone who's not quite action but could do it. You never know, fucking Nick Cage could be thrown into it. Nick Cage would probably want to play the skyscraper. It's a really interesting... I can't do it. I'm not even going to try and do a Nick Cage. After last week's
We had enough impressions last week. I actually made you do your Arnie impression to Scott today, didn't I?
It's pretty embarrassing, wasn't it?
That was my highlight of the whole interview.
It was definitely the low point of my life. In front of a muscle man doing an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
Other names involved with the Raid remake are Frank Grillo.
Never heard of him.
I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Luke Evans and then Ethan Hawke.
Do you know I was about to say Ethan Hawke as well?
You could maybe see Ethan Hawke, but I'm not enthused about a remake at all. I'm not.
It doesn't need to be done.
Gareth Evans is good enough to. He doesn't need someone to reboot his film.
No.
He is literally I'd say a much better director than Patrick Hughes.
Well, think of Hollywood with the reboots. I mean, they've just ruined Total Recall.
Yeah, they're mad for him, aren't they?
Did you watch
RoboCop.
it? Did you? Oh, RoboCop it was so far off what it should have been.
I know.
It was Batman and Iron Man, wasn't it? Basically, it was mental. I mean, God, it did me head in because, like, if you're going to show a dystopian future, like what RoboCop's about with gang warfare and everything, you've got to show a bit of violence.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Like, come on, man.
Speaking a little bit of Expendables as well, I think we referred to it last week, but that PG-13, Scott Adkins wasn't concerned about that at all, was he?
True. Do you know what? He hit the nail on the head though, because he was saying how Expendables 2, was quite soft anyway, and it was soft, and they added all the gore in afterwards because Expendables 2 was originally meant to be PG-13.
Yeah.
And it didn't change the film. I mean, Expendables 2 would have been a brilliant film regardless. And I know people out there hate it, but I love it. It's a love letter.
Yeah.
The first one wasn't a love letter. It was so serious, and dare I say, it was boring.
Yeah.
You know,
it was slow.
Stallone wrote himself a character. Well, he tried to write himself a character with a little arc, but just give it up, man. You can't act that good anymore, anyway.
You're right.
Just leave it and just kick ass. We don't care about your emotion.
That's all we want.
Just shoot someone or punch someone.
Anger.
What are we talking about now?
Right, I'll tell you what. We don't often talk about one of our loves in life, video games, on this podcast.
Don't tell anyone that. If they knew we were sat
We're not into video games.
If they knew we were sat in a room now with how many N64 games are
Two
on that shelf?
52-inch televisions.
There's probably 300 Nintendo 64 games on that shelf right there.
We are players.
Absolute ballers.
Right, let's talk the latest EA title, which has been revealed today, which is Battlefield Hardline. Now, we just went for some chicken, and we had a good chat about this.
We did.
So...
And beer.
Did we have beer?
I had 2 beers.
How's your stomach?
It's pretty bad. I'm not going to lie, that gluten is currently ravaging my intestine.
Just sip your green tea. Slurp that while
you know, like them
hurricanes.
Them hurricanes ravaged that village in Rohan.
Oh yeah, just like that.
It's been pillaged right now.
Right. Okay. So, Battlefield Hardline then.
Battlefield's making me hard.
Here we go.
Line right now.
Here we go. Battlefield Hardline is going to be cops and robbers, but Battlefield.
So, like we said, Counter-Strike.
A bit like Counter-Strike.
If people aren't aware of what Counter-Strike is, it's basically one of the greatest online games of all time.
All time.
I think it was made from the Half-Life 1 engine. It was a mod originally developed, and you had a SWAT team versus terrorists or whatever, criminals. And it was just amazing. The tensest online gameplay I've still ever played, even compared to Battlefield. So if they're going down that route, I think it could be brilliant.
Yeah, I think you're right. Although no one's played Battlefield with us yet, we're making a clan tonight.
I think we should do a vote on this.
It's going to be made by the time we finish this podcast.
Well, let's let them know what you want to call the clan.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen of the Movie Cricket Podcast, we are fans of the US Office, and both of our clan names are inspired by the US Office. Are they? No, they're not both. One's by Michael Scott, one's by Andy Bernard.
Yeah.
I am voting. Billy's vote is that we call our clan Threat Level Midnight. Fucking sick name.
It's alright, it is good, but my vote is that we call the clan after Andy Bernard's a cappella group, Here Comes Treble.
It's good.
Imagine if we log on a server though and people are like, Here Comes Treble.
It's good, but I'd almost imagine a wedding band to turn up.
But that's why it's funny, because it's the shittest name.
No, I want to strike fear into people's hearts. Threat Level
What about
Midnight.
Nard Dogs?
Nah, I don't
Threat Level Midnight.
Threat Level Midnight's the best name, and you know it is.
Either way, I'm happy, but I would prefer. Here Comes
Right,
Treble.
so that'll be get put to a vote. It might already be decided by the time we put
tweet at the Movie Cricket. Here Comes Treble, or Threat Level Midnight. Whichever you think will drive fear into the heart of the enemy.
And let it be so. Returning to Battlefield Hardline, cops and robbers, SWAT versus thieves. They're the factions.
Yep.
I'm quite excited by the idea of having a more city-based combat.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've seen sort of
Smaller
Shanghai,
scale.
you've seen Dawnbreaker. They're probably two of my favourite levels actually on the new Battlefield 4.
Yeah.
And I am a bit bored of like the dust planes and the just militarised warfare.
It's
getting
large
a little
scale,
bit old.
isn't it? It is large scale. I think going small scale with just maybe one life would be interesting. Like Counter-Strike used to be. Like I don't know if you ever played Counter-Strike because you're a bit younger than me, but it was, if I remember, it was 10 against 10 or 12 against 12, and there was an objective in each level, like defuse a bomb or rescue hostages, and you had one life. And at the end of the round, like, when you died, people would watch what you were up to, and they'd be critiquing you.
Alright.
And you'd be rooting for your guy to win the round or whatever. Excuse me, and it was just really tense, like, at any moment, you could just fuck up. Or get ambushed, or... It was just brilliant, and the levels were amazingly designed. Excuse me, I'm a bit hiccupy from beer. Here we go.
Absolute player.
I'm good.
So yeah, new Battlefield title. I think that sounds pretty cool. What else in the news this week? We've got Edgar Wright, actually. Should we talk a bit about Edgar Wright?
Yeah.
He's recently exited Ant-Man. Now that's not particularly news, because that was quite a few days ago now. But what some of you may not know is the reasons why Edgar Wright left Ant-Man. And that was because Marvel Studios...
I know why. Don't spoiler alert. Marvel Studios weren't going to let Simon Pegg and Nick Frost play Ant-Man.
Here we go. Dueling the role.
I bet that's probably why you wanted Simon Pegg.
You're almost certainly right, actually.
But they just came up with some bullshit.
Now, Marvel Studios, they wanted extreme rewrites on the script written by Joe Cornish and Edgar Wright. What was that? I just had a flashback. What film did I say was by Joe Cornish on the first podcast we did? Is it Attack the Block?
I think Attack the Block was Joe Cornish.
Who did I say it was?
You said it was Wesley Schneider, didn't you?
Shut up.
Sebastian Schweinsteiger. Tony Crews. Robin Van Persie.
That was the one. Yeah, so... Yeah, Marvel ordered a lot of rewrites on the script by Edgar Wright, and he didn't like it, so he's left. Simple as that.
It's interesting
Bold
that
move.
because, you know, I'm not the comic book guy. I couldn't give a shit. I think if you're going to give a director like him who's really quirky and very, you know, he's got very specific visual style.
Yeah.
If you're going to give it him, let him do it.
Yeah.
Let him write the story that matches his style of filmmaking.
Well, it seems to be paying off for that exact reason with James Gunn on Guardians of the Galaxy. Right?
Yeah.
Like that trailer looks amazing.
Let's just double check right now though if it was the same James Gunn who... Can you check on IMDb, see if it was the James Gunn who did Wolverine? Because I caught that a few weeks ago and I wasn't impressed.
Right, let's have a little look.
We need some intermission music. No, it's not.
It's not.
No, it's not.
It wasn't even him.
I apologise.
Oh no, that's Writer. Wait.
Could be.
It's not him.
No, phew. Here we go.
Right, so leave James Gunn
Here comes
alone.
Treble. He's in our good books.
Right, you know what? I'm going to wrap up the news there because I really want to talk about...
No, hang on. Why did he leave then? Just because the rewrites, that's it?
Yeah.
Would you have done that
about
though?
it.
Would you have done that though, being like professional?
I think if he had a very specific vision for Ant-Man and he wanted it to look a certain way, feel a certain way, and Marvel came in and said no, it's difficult to direct. It'd be directing someone else's vision in effect. So
it must have been quite out there what you were thinking then, because Marvel films tend to be very safe, don't
it's
they?
a fairly dodgy story though. Like a guy that can shrink down to tiny size.
I reckon what he wanted to do was, I mean, if I could shrink down to tiny size and I could crawl under doors, I'm just going to throw it out there.
Go on.
Girls' locker room.
Yeah.
There'd be, I think, quarter of the script, it would be me in a locker room. It'd be me in a Topshop changing room.
Yeah.
It'd be me in Victoria's Secret.
Obviously.
Just imagine an ant, basically, where there could be possible breasts in any situation, and I'd probably be there.
You see now, if Marvel ordered
Do ants have
some
penises?
slight rewrites on that,
Can ants masturbate?
well,
When he's an ant, is he an ant or is he just small?
he's a small man.
Do you know what? Perfect. If you're going to try and masturbate in public, you might as well shrink down. So where no one can keep an eye on you. This has got porno written all over it.
Right. Consumer advice for those
Do you
that
know what?
have the
I'm-
ability to
do you know-
shrink down to molecular level. Jim says to use your ability to get into women's locker rooms.
To be fair though, right, think about it. If you're a superhero, that's what the first thing most people would do. If you're Spider-Man, you'd be on the roof swinging down. You know, you'd be you know that thing where he's on the roof looking down. You'd be in the girls' locker room. If you were Superman, you'd be whizzing in there as fast as you could. Woo!
Quicksilver, they wouldn't even see you.
Quicksilver would be in there having a fondle.
Curveball. What about Batman? What does he do? It's not dark enough for him to hide in the shadows.
Yeah, but he can't he? He still can do it.
There's no shadows in a locker room.
Well,
in the changing room. There's no way.
If you wait, until after the last jazzercise class of the evening, about 9 o'clock, I bet Batman will be at the windows like, just Batfleck. What's he called? Batfleck. Batfleck will just be chilling like, oh my god.
We are demolishing everyone's beloved superheroes.
Yeah, but you've got to be realistic. I mean, every guy becomes a superhero for a reason. Every guy becomes a rock star for a reason. Boobs.
Girls.
Superheroes are
Let's
just
be
rock
honest.
stars. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They do it for the chicks. Why do you think there's a chick in every superhero film ever?
You are absolutely right.
Batman gets upset over a chick. Spider-Man gets upset over a chick. Superman gets upset over a chick. Eh?
You're
they're
right.
They're doing it for the women.
Maybe Edgar Wright said no to chicks.
But they won't get upset if they were in locker rooms and they were just spying on boobs.
I think the women might get a bit upset.
The story would be a bit different. Yeah, but women are equal, Billy. Women can perv too.
You're right.
Don't be
You're right.
so sexist.
Let's make a Black Widow film where we've got Scarlett Johansson sneaking under the door of a women's changing room.
Yep.
Yeah, I get you. I see where you're going.
A male changing room.
Oh, you want a male changing room?
Why do you think she's called Black Widow? She devours the male after sex.
Yeah. Alright.
That's where it comes from, is sex. When you see her in the comic, she ain't wearing a fucking t-shirt covering everything up. She's got her boobs out.
Yeah.
She's got the butt out. She's on the hunt for a male. She chose Hawkeye in the film. Clearly she set her sights a bit low. But we'll forgive her for it.
Yeah.
Where were we?
We've digressed. We are well from the path, the trodden path.
Here we go.
Right. I'm going to make you talk about X-Men.
Oh, yeah.
Days of Future Past.
So what day we see that?
We saw that on Saturday.
Saturday. I loved it, Billy.
I know you really liked it. You came out and you were buzzing.
Do you know why I loved it though?
Tell people why you loved it.
Because the scale wasn't that big.
Nah.
I think the special effects weren't that impressive. I think the action wasn't that impressive, but I think the story, I think the character development and everyone's arcs and the script was amazing and it was utterly believable.
I think it was more intimate than past, like the newer films in particular, like First Class, Last Stand, is it called?
Well, it took off where First Class left us, First Class was brilliant, to be fair. It was an amazing reboot and all its job was to do was succeed and create a bit of tension between Magneto and Professor X and seeing him in the 70s. It was the 70s, wasn't it? A few years later, how they've gone, what direction they've gone, and I just thought it was brilliant. And I love the time travel aspect with. Sorry, spoiler alerts, everyone, if you've not seen it. Where you're seeing the Sentinels taking out the the superheroes in the future. I just think it's brilliant.
See, what I really loved about that was the vision that Singer had to make every mutant use its powers really fluidly and naturally. There was no big moment where, I'm going to turn a fire right now. I'm going to turn it to iron right now. Yeah. There was none of that.
They were in the prime.
They just did it. They just fucking did it and just didn't care. It wasn't a big deal.
And them Sentinels kicked their ass. The threat was real. From that opening scene where you see them all get their asses kicked by 3 or 4 Sentinels, and you realise, right, this is not going to be an easy film.
You know what it was?
What?
It was Threat Level Midnight.
Threat Level Midnight. When them Sentinels came in, I was like, here comes Treble.
No, you weren't.
Here comes Treble.
Right.
I really loved it, and I think, having a bit of weight in Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, they just, the way they talk and hold the screen, and Hugh Jackman,
he gets better, doesn't he?
They're getting better. I think if people watched The Wolverine, that was the last one, wasn't it? The one where he's against the giant samurai. If people watched that and were annoyed like me that it was just dumb action and cliched action things, when you see Wolverine in this, he doesn't do that much fighting, and it's more about his personality.
His presence.
And him, Wolverine being a mediator. I mean, that's the opposite of what Wolverine is.
He's been restrained, isn't he, all the way through to try and make James McAvoy's Charles do what he needs to do.
It's another side that we're not used to seeing. And I just really enjoyed seeing it. I don't want to keep seeing the same thing. I mean, that's why some superhero films fall on their ass, because
you're right.
You need to do something different.
It's a totally unique film. I really liked how it all tied together, though, speaking about older films. I still think, the way it tied in Wolverine's past with his memory loss and then Stryker at the end, I thought that was really cool. So there's loads of little tie-ins which I thought worked really well. And then obviously, big spoiler alert, Jean coming back at the end as Red Phoenix. That was fucking awesome.
She's hot, man.
So, there's loads of little bits in it which are nice Easter eggs for existing X-Men fans. So it'd be very rewarding for them.
I think as well, if you're going to go from like character decisions, you know, Magneto, Fassbender again, it's just brilliant. I mean, once the film gets going and you understand that they've got to work together,
yeah,
Magneto is purely selfish, and how he acts to the situation that's ahead of him without compassion, and he acts like a villain even when he's being good, and you know he's doing it for the good of everyone, but the way he acts is it's brilliant. Yeah. Like, you don't for once think this is the greatest hits. Like a reunion.
Yeah, you're right. You never do it. It feels really fresh.
You know, like on the Avengers, they just all of a sudden they're all mates kicking ass.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they're all kicking.
It's not an ensemble, is it? It's still a story. All the way through.
It's still him.
You're totally right.
On his little, he never changes who he is just for the sake of the story. He's still Magneto. He's still a fucking arsehole, excuse my French, and he don't give a shit about people he's meant to care about. I mean, Raven. As soon as he sees Renee, he thinks, right, if I just kill her, it'll be all done, blah, 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 blah.
Puts a bullet in her leg.
Yeah, and then they're talking about her destiny, saying, what if it's her destiny to die, or is it a destiny to be captured and this to happen? What if it's going to happen regardless? I just think it's deeper than it has to go, but that's what makes it interesting. Because there's nothing worse than a dumb summer film, is there?
No, you're totally right. On a little side note as well, Michael Fassbender is unbelievable.
He's a boss, man.
He's so good. Like, his career is just going to skyrocket in the next year.
He's amazing. I think what's he called again? James McAvoy.
James McAvoy.
It's so strange seeing him as a young Professor X, because he's kind of like Austin Powers still, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Not that that's a bad thing, but it's interesting seeing a younger man. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
You know, before he's all serious, it's nice to see him, and then to see him be young and stupid and a bit selfish and try and get away from who he is, knowing where he's going to go. And I think that's just really nice, because when you do see a glimpse of who he really is, it's more believable and it's more impactful on the story.
Yeah, there are intimate moments, aren't there, like with his addiction to the serum.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting in an era that's known for drug addiction.
Yeah, I think that was a cool comment.
I really enjoyed it, and I think the supporting cast was great. I mean, Halle Berry had, 2 lines?
Yeah.
She was underused.
Was she underused though? Because was she ever really that good as Storm? Like, you look back now, is it nostalgia that kind of makes you think, yeah, she was...
What, she was Catwoman?
Cool. Yeah.
I'm kidding, bro.
I don't know, like, I think the only characters you really want to see from the old cast were Scott, which you didn't get to see.
Yeah.
What's his name who plays him?
I can't remember.
I don't want to offend anyone by getting the wrong name, but then you've got Ian McKellen, obviously, and Patrick Stewart. They're the real people you want to see, and you get a lot of exchange between them.
You see Beast,
but he's first class, isn't he? So
yeah,
they're the people you want to see, and I think that pays off, especially with spoiler alert again. Magneto's, you wouldn't call it a sacrifice, but he kind of does a big power move and then he gets fucked up.
Yeah,
and that's mint. I love that he's going out and then he's still holding Charles's hand as he's going and stuff. That's fucking awesome.
I really enjoyed seeing them too, McKellen and Stewart. I just think that they're so far ahead of like everyone else in their kind of, you know, who could play that kind of character. You can't imagine them doing anything else. I mean, Patrick Stewart, I know he's a local guy from where we live and everything. He's from 20 miles down the road. Andy and McKellen, both 20 miles away where they grew up. I just think they're amazing. Mm-hmm. Like, they just hold these roles so much, and when they say something, you believe it.
Yeah, they're not just acting, are they? Like they live the role. They really perform. It's not like we always do that line from The Hobbit, don't we? You need it. Like it's always amazing. They never bottle a line. Every single line is thought out and delivered properly.
That's a theatre in them. That's theatre.
It's amazing.
Pure theatre. Yeah, overall, I think
out of 10 then.
It's tricky because I can't really think of any negatives because I really did enjoy it, but
don't think that makes the positives better than they are.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's still not quite an 8 for me.
It's not a 10 or I think it's an 8 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say a high 7.
I think it's only an 8 for me because the first 25 minutes I felt sick as a dog.
Yeah, you were upset, weren't you?
I don't know what it was wrong with the screen. We watched it in Halifax, but god damn, It made me feel sick as a pig. Can pigs be sick?
Oh yeah,
I
pigs
don't
can
know
be
what I'm
sick.
talking about.
Speaking of farm animals, you know that fucking sheep that were keeping us up last
I can
night?
see it outside now.
I reckon it's one of those fuckers.
Oi, you little fucker.
We've got a sheep problem,
There's
ladies
two
and
black
gentlemen.
ones out there, 2 black sheep.
Why are you picking on those ones?
Whoa, there's some white ones too. I'm an equal opportunist sheep hater.
I hate all sheep equally.
Me too, especially when they keep me awake at night. Bloody annoying.
If you have problems with farm animals, do let us know.
Yorkshire problems, man.
Hashtag Yorkshire problems.
What else did we watch? I think we got drunk and watched some old films. We watched Commando, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
we
a
did.
good film, man.
I love Commando.
That is a good film. Uncut as well on Sky.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't expecting it.
When he's in that shed and all that
scene.
shit kicks
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
He's decapitating, his arms flying off.
Decapitating.
It's
You can do
amazing.
it a lot better than I can.
It's amazing. Decapitating. Ha, come on. Ha. Can't do it that way. It's fantastic. All you've got to do for Arnie is say fantastic. Say it.
I'm going to practice it and then I'll come back
Fantastic.
next week and I'll really nail it.
Come on, hey.
I'll
What's
really
the
nail
matter? The CIA got you buzzing too many pencils. Hey.
Do you want to do as an outro with Arnie then?
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not very good at it, to be honest. Yeah, so watch X-Men and...
Stay tuned for the Scott Atkins interview, which we will put up
yeah,
in
if you
its entirety.
subscribe on iTunes and it'll pop up as a download and it'll automatically download to your phone or whatever device you've got. So
It's well worth listening to. He said so much interesting stuff. Like, we had a great time talking
he's
to
a
him.
cool guy, and do you know what? He's just ready to explode.
Yeah.
He's ready. I mean, he's paid his dues. He's in a huge film 2 years ago with Expendables 2. He had a great role in that, and he's just ready. He's done everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming up next.
And thanks for listening, everyone, this week. We'll look forward to bringing you something next week and listening to Scott Atkins. See you soon.
Remember to vote. Here comes Treble.
Oh, God.
Here comes Treble.
Fret level midnight.
Cool. Laters, guys.
Bye, guys.